Hey, what is up, everybody? Late night video. I believe it is after midnight here on the East Coast. Still never going to get used to how you guys watched WWE pay-per-views as well as just normal sporting events throughout the year. Watched Money in the Bank. Went to go see a band perform, Scratch 2020 here. Our first full day here in Florida on vacation. Going to be here for 2 weeks. Hopefully get a lot of time to talk to you guys out here on the deck. I guess you can say late night outside of my room. But to me, honestly, the biggest thing to come out of Money in the Bank 2024, we get the McIntyre winning the briefcase. He followed up. He said he was going to cash in on Monday Night Raw, and he ended up doing it. He was unsuccessful. CM Punk came down there, set up SummerSlam pretty much. We also had Tiffy win the women's Money in the Bank. WWE is just really knocking it out of the park, really getting me excited about WWE, wanting to be a bigger WWE fan. Exactly what I'm asking. But what I did not see happening was John Cena making an appearance at Money in the Bank. He's done this on big shows. He's gone over to I think he was at Money in the Bank last year. When they were over there in England, he made a surprise appearance. Talked about how WWE needed to bring WrestleMania over there. But this year, he goes to Toronto, and he makes the announcement that 2025, he will start his retirement tour. He's going to be at the Royal Rumble. He's going to be at the Elimination Chamber. And he's going to be at WrestleMania 41. That will be his last and final match. If I had to put money on it, I don't think it is the last time we will see John Cena in WWE. I don't think it is the last time we will see him inside of the ring when a bell is rung. There's always going to be a Raw reunion. There's always going to be a millionth Raw. There's going to be a monumental SmackDown. And John Cena is the biggest performer that WWE had. He was the number one name in wrestling for pretty much a big chunk of the 2000s. He came on the scene roughly 2002. I think that, when he won the United States Championship at WrestleMania 20, he really set forth that he was going to be a big star in the company. He goes from beating Big Show at 20 to at 21 beating JBL for the SmackDown World Heavyweight Championship, and then goes on to being the real main event of the show. I remember when they switched him and Batista during the WWE draft, and Cena went to Raw. You were like, oh, changing of the guard. This guy is the guy that they think is going to be the number one guy. They didn't give up on Batista, but I think they saw the writing on the wall that Cena was going to be a bigger star than there is from there. The fact that Cena's announced he's going to be at the Rumble, and he's going to be in the elimination, or I apologize, he will be at the Elimination Chamber. He will have to qualify in order to get into the chamber, and it's not really said what the chamber is going to be for. Most wrestling fans will always think, Royal Rumble, you're in there, you're competing to get a shot at the main event of WrestleMania, challenge for a main championship, whether that is the Raw or SmackDown title at the time. You can pick which way you're going to go. Elimination Chamber, same deal. We have seen in the past they put the tag title and the Intercontinental title, I believe, in what was that? I think 2015, early years of the WWE Network, when they basically just put a house show on, but they titled it in the Elimination Chamber. We got 2 Elimination Chamber matches. They were really trying to pump the network back in the day, and that was like a big show. Even though if it, the WWE Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship wasn't being contended in the chamber, you knew that we were going to get something good and it was going to be worth it. I don't even think it happened on a weekend. I think it happened like a Thursday from like Corpus Christi, Texas or something like that. So that was a big deal. But when I think about Cena, I want to see him coming close to competing for the championships. He's tied there with Ric Flair, 16 title runs in WWE. For him to get that exclamation point, get 17, it's kind of put him on the Mount Rushmore as being one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I think he already deserves to be on that Rushmore one way or another, whether it's like him, Cena, if it's Cena, Hogan, Flair. I think those are three of the faces, and you can debate the last one. You can put like a Rock, an Austin, a Taker. It's hard to narrow that down to only four guys to be going up there. But man, when I think about it, I would love to see him going after a title, whether if that means he has a match against a main guy like Seth Rollins, whether if that means he's going up there against a guy like Damian Priest, who's holding the title as of right now. I think that would be great. But there's guys that Cena has a real connection to in WWE that I think he really deserves to have a match against somebody like that. The name that jumps out to everybody, the name that I kind of think is going to be the number one choice is going to be Cena versus Orton. We've seen this match 1,000 times. It's hard to believe, but I don't think they've had a match in WWE since they had a SmackDown match in 2017. I don't think they've had a main pay-per-view match since was that TLC 2013 when they both had titles and they both put them on the line. That was a big match, but for a long time, Cena and Orton were two guys that were over in WWE, but the fans were over seeing their matches. It felt like they were on every pay-per-view and every main event, and they traded the titles back and forth. And I seem to remember, but I can't find any proof of it. I think WWE even marketed one of the pay-per-view matches as the last time you would ever see Orton versus Cena. I don't know if maybe that was a joke meme that I saw back in the day, but I swear that was the hype for one of the pay-per-views. So that Orton versus Cena, last time ever. Vince McMahon gave it a guarantee that it would never happen. And we've seen a lot of weird historic matchups go down at these sort of Saudi Arabia or Australia pay-per-views to get big names on the card. They never did Cena versus Orton again, and I was really, really surprised by that. There are two guys, they made their debut in WWE roughly around the same time. They went through Ohio Valley. Their story really, really connects, and it really makes a lot of sense. Orton is no slouch. I think he's like a 13-time World Heavyweight Champion, somewhere in that mix. Maybe it's a 14. But Orton's not putting it out there that it's going to be his last WrestleMania. This guy just went through hell to get fixed up, to make the return that he's on right now. We saw him go down with neck problems as a part of RKO Bro, and the dude was gone for well over a year in order to get back into the ring, and I think he really loves it. And when you see him out there, you don't know that tomorrow is promised, so he's taking full advantage of everything he's getting. And whether if it's a producer backstage or whether if it's his own doing, they're constantly having him looking at that World Heavyweight Championship and sort of like, I gotta get that back in my collection. I gotta get back on top. We don't really know where this run is going, but you can tell that the Orton character wants that title. But if these guys aren't in championship, contenders, number one matches, Orton versus Cena is a WrestleMania matchup that they can build around and make it John's really, really big one. I'm not saying that something like Cena versus Punk, a really big storyline for Cena's career. Definitely one of the biggest foes that he ever went down. The 2010, they had the matchup on Monday Night Raw during the draft. No, was it a draft? All I know is that's the match that the Nexus broke up. And then they went crazy in there. And then, of course, Money in the Bank 2011. Punk came out of nowhere to be a main event star in WWE. That would lead to SummerSlam 2011. I believe Night of Champions 2012. They had a Monday Night Raw match to set up who the number one contender was to face The Rock at WrestleMania 29. That was a 5-star match. I think it's like the only 5-star match in the history of Monday Night Raw. But those guys, trading eyes at each other, CM Punk, I think that him and Cena, they have a relationship together. I think they appreciate each other. I don't think they hate each other, but the CM Punk character hates John Cena. And if he was then to slam the door on Cena, I think that would be awesome. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. There's other matches out there. I definitely don't want to see him go down the same way that Kurt Angle went down around WrestleMania 41. No, where am I going? I don't want to see him go down the way Kurt Angle did at WrestleMania 35 against a guy like Baron Corbin that really didn't really go anywhere. Cena has had matches in the past. He's had pay-per-view matches against Solo Sikoa. He's had a WrestleMania match against Austin Theory that helped them, but in the long run, Austin Theory might not be in the same place that he was come WrestleMania 39. So did it really help him? I don't know, but I'm really looking forward. Well, I'll say the truth. I'm not looking forward to having John Cena's last match. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing the build. It'll be a lot like Ric Flair's run for WrestleMania 24, where if he lost the match, he was forced to retire. Otherwise, I think it's going to be John Cena's quest to get that 17th championship. I think it's going to be the storyline. Him, getting into the Rumble, whether if they make him compete or if he just gets to throw his name in the ring and say he's going to be one of the guys, then he's going to have to find a way to get into the Elimination Chamber. It might even be a lot like Shawn Michaels' run for WrestleMania 26, where he had to face The Undertaker because he wanted one more shot, because he thought that he made one mistake, and if he didn't make that little mistake, he would have been the guy to end the streak. So it's going to be fun. WrestleMania season. I don't have a ticket yet, but I'm glad that I'm going. Peace out, everybody.